Hey guys, Stealing Mankind here, and it's time for my full review of Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a side-scrolling platform game that was created on the back of a successful 2014 Kickstarter campaign. Here in the US, it was released on February 24th on PC and Mac Linux on April 11th. There is a Nintendo Switch and PS4 release in the works, but there have been no hard release dates given. Without further ado, let's get into it. In this game, you play as an unnamed insect knight that arrives in the town of Dirtmouth to discover it nearly abandoned and must search underground in the ancient ruins of a place called Hallownest to learn its secrets, discover its history, and meet its myriad of unique inhabitants. Now, the term Souls-like has become trite at this point, with many games claiming to follow the same formula, many simply on the difficulty curve, yet this is a game that does fit that mold in more ways than fair but unforgiving gameplay. The story is obtuse and cryptic, requiring a deep dive into every corner of the world and multiple conversations with each NPC to crack the surface of this narrative. Every time you talk to someone, they don't do more than vaguely mention events that have or are happening. Each area is connected to the other, and entry and exit can be achieved in a variety of ways, with shortcuts rewarding the intrepid explorer. As you venture further underground, the enemies become more terrifying but no less beautiful. Every map is distinct, yet has a cohesion with the overall aesthetic established from the beginning. NPC characters will appear in different places as you explore to remark on the surroundings or provide story elements only to have moved on the next time you pass through. One early area even changes completely as you progress to certain points in the story, which leads us to one of the most important parts of the game, the design. I am 100% a sucker for this new wave of 2D hand animation in games, and Hollow Knight is the best of the bunch. Some tiny imperfections in the designs now and then add to the charm of the designs. Every enemy and NPC is unique but consistent in style. Light effects and environmental elements, coupled with a background that is never static, create a full palette in which I never lost interest. After I'd beaten the game and completed it 100%, I found myself still opening it and exploring it to see every familiar area full of life. The music is beautifully composed and always fits the situation perfectly. A favorite is the music for the Mantis Lords and Hornet boss fights. They can move from sweeping orchestral pieces to more tranquil, gorgeous piano pieces such as the main theme. Now you can tell there's a lot of love put in both the design and the music, and all of these elements keep backtracking from being a chore. Unless, like me, some of the bosses take quite a few attempts, which is another way that brings about the Souls comparison. Every time you die in the game, a shade of your character is left behind and you return to the most recent bench rested at. You lose all of your Geo, the currency of the game, and must defeat the shade to regain all of it. It can seem tedious at first, but if you fully explore each area leading to each boss, there are typically shortcuts hidden that can lead you back with a few enemies on the way, if any. Boss fights are all different, and each has a fun intro animation with a title card to add to the atmosphere. They put to the test both dexterity and pattern recognition, as well as understanding of the full mechanics of the game. And yet, they are never unfair, only punishing if you do make too many mistakes. And that is the beauty of this game. Overall, the game is a Metroidvania style game through and through, but the movement and combat is so fluid I've never experienced a better feeling game in the genre. You start with nothing more than a button to heal and a button to attack. Piecemeal, the game provides you with a use for each button and never overwhelms you with new attacks or special moves. There are upgrades that make some fights easy in comparison, but the game always feels like a challenge. There are upwards of 36 charms you can equip to make changes during combat, such as having more reach with your weapon, quicker strikes, or even quicker heals. This is where I experienced my only complaint with the game, and that was some input lag I had on a semi-regular basis, but that could totally be up to the controller I was using, a DualShock 3, and not the fault of the game itself. I recommend playing with a controller though, because that is where the gameplay really shines. And now for what's coming up next in the game. So far there are 3 free content packs on the way, with the first coming out very near or on the release of this review on August 3rd, 2017, with others to follow. The next 2 have not been outlined, but the first one will launch with 2 new bosses and an entirely new travel mode, as well as a new hidden stagway, which is the normal means of travel throughout the game. There's also a second playable character coming sometime in the future, and that is definitely something to look forward to. Hollow Knight is one of the best games I have played in years and easily tops my list for Game of the Year to this point. In a year this stacked with great games, I hope that conveys how strongly I feel about it. The gameplay is fast-paced, and the exploration is rewarding in a world populated with so many interesting areas and characters. I highly recommend checking it out and seeing what this game truly has to offer. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Stealing Mankind. I'll be back soon with more videos. Give me a like, subscribe, and bye.